During the election, once again, Mr. Speaker, there were media accounts of long lines coming out of election polling places in the state, many of them in South Florida, and you both have decided to include reviewing the election laws from this standpoint, what needs to be done to improve the voting process in Florida. Why did you decide, among all the things you could be looking at, that you were going to look at this again?
Well, not to sound like a broken record, but trust in government, again, is a problem, not just at the federal level, but at the state level. And I'm not here to place blame on anybody particularly. I think there's enough of that to go around. But what we all know and can agree upon is that our elections process was flawed. Nobody should have to wait 6 hours in line to vote at early voting. Nobody should have to wait till 5 or 6 days after the election to figure out where the electoral votes are going to go, to the Republican or the Democratic nominee. And we have an obligation, I believe, as the state who sets the election laws, to make sure that they're functional, to make sure that people can vote timely, and to make sure that everyone understands what the rules are. And I believe that, instead of running from this issue and blaming, anybody else, the Senate President and I decided we're going to take this on head on. And we're going to talk to our supervisors, and we're going to work with our Secretary of State, and we're going to work with Republicans and Democrats to try to come up with a bipartisan solution to make sure that this never happens again. And I think some folks want to focus on the past of how we got here. The Senate President and I want to focus on the future and how we make sure it never happens again.
So you're going to, the word I heard there was bipartisan. You're not going to take an approach where one blames the other or whatever. You're going to try to say, how can
yeah, and if I could, bipartisanship's a two-way street. And so we're going to do our best to make the options bipartisan. We want to work with both parties, but at the end of the day, they've got to work with us too.
Okay. Yeah, and I think that election law reform has to be to create accuracy and fairness and timely counts, not to create a partisan advantage for one party or the other, or to work out a grudge about something that might have happened in the past. Instead, we've got to have elections laws and elections in Florida that are a model for this country, and that's our goal.